You are strong, you are capable, you are smart, you are fearless. When is the last time, Thrivers, you said that to yourself or someone else? When is the last time you heard that from anyone else or yourself? Welcome back, Thrivers. It is the last Thursday in July. Oh my gosh, happy summer. And I hope that you are enjoying a little sunburn and lots of food, fun, friends, family, all of those things. I am so excited to be here with you today for our solo episode to wrap up July. So today we are going to talk about community. Now, wait, I know we've talked a little bit about this before, but why did I open by telling you that you are strong, you are capable, you are smart, and you are fearless? Because that is the power that comes from the community that we build, the community that we choose, the community that we create. And the importance of that right now is absolutely tremendous. So as we live through this hustle culture, as we suffer and recover from this human energy crisis that we are living in, I will tell you that community is everything. What we've been creating this past year with Jodi Speaks Life, living inspired, fulfilled, and empowered, and this cool podcast where really my entire objective is to build a community of you and for you. This community of phenomenal young women, mostly, who are doing awesome and amazing things in not only the equine industry, but also ag and animal health industry careers. You are the community that I am building. You are the reason that I am doing this. And so I want to talk about the impact of that and the importance of that in your life today. Why do I think community matters so much? What are three ways that I want you to focus today and moving forward on building your own community so that you can thrive and not just survive? I think that so many of us are living in this human energy crisis and we're clawing our way out of it. How do we spend our time? And why are we in such a hurry? And where do our days go? And where do our hours go? And all of the burnout and the fatigue and the depression and the lack of sleep and the not being enough. The only way we are going to overcome, recover, and thrive through this is to create community on purpose. So let's talk a little bit about that and why I am here to, again, remind you of the importance of this. So I think that it used to come much more naturally to build community. And maybe you've heard me say that before, but if we go back and think about the very beginning of our journeys. For many of us, that was high school age or college age of where we are now and where we're going. And I think back, and my community was beginning to be built in that high school time, super involved in FFA. There was the community that was created for me. Really, I thrived in that environment. I had two ag teachers, another teacher at school that absolutely mentored and championed me at a time, my friends, that I was kind of angry. And, mostly because I was living in a home fueled by anger and addiction. And these people poured their time and energy into me. And so that started to build my community that then became my life. And so I'll encourage you to think back to those times that you can recognize, when did your community really begin building? Where are the impact people? Where are the mentors? Where are the champions? Because so many of us, every single one of us, have lived through really some pretty amazing opportunities. And we've also lived through some pretty awful situations. And every one of those is different. But those are the standout moments that we tend to look back on and know that there was someone there who was or became part of our community that has led us forward to who we are today and who we are becoming. And then Off to college I went. Maybe you're there now. Maybe you look back and think about your college career. When I got to college as a first generation college attendee, I had zero idea what I was doing. And more importantly, I had no idea how I was going to pay for it. So I was paying for college myself. I was working. I was going to classes. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for the rest of my life. Again, in step, a few people who still to this day poured their time and energy into me in order to mentor and champion who I was then and who I was becoming. They became part of my community. I say all this to say, I want you to think about the people in your life that have given you those same mentorship and champion opportunities and experiences. But I also am going to challenge you today to become a part of this community that we are creating by doing the same thing for someone else. So when we think about that, and we move through all of these opportunities and situations that have created our community along the way, I want you to know that many of our young people today don't have those same opportunities for community. And many of us know the impact of that. And many of us have the opportunity to mentor and champion someone else to help them experience that. I am quick to say that I know the impact of community for a few very specific reasons. I mentioned FFA. That was my high school community, that when I found that, I was home, right? Like I knew who I was and where I was and what I was doing and what I was a part of, and I was growing, whether I could recognize that or not. And then let's move on to college. I became part of the Intercollegiate Horse Show Association club team at Western Kentucky University. That was home for me. Those were my friends and champions. I learned a lot. Some we can talk about, others, maybe that's best done over drinks, later in the evening. But that was my community. And folks, like they were forgiving of me. I came into groups and organizations not knowing anything. Don't forget, we all start somewhere. And that's the importance of community. It is not being around a bunch of people who are exactly like us and don't challenge us to think bigger and better and become better people. It is about being a rookie. It's about not knowing anything. It's about learning, and it's about laughing at ourselves and all of those kinds of things. It is about community. And then move on. This is where I really want us to understand that as I talk a lot about the student to professional transition, one of the misses that I believe we have missing out on community as we move from the student to professional transition and into our early careers, into adulthood, if you will, we don't have any more forced friendships, forced clubs. If I was involved in FFA, guess what? I was around people who had some similar or same interests as I did. And then in college, I was in the ag department. I was part of the equestrian team, whatever that looked like. I was with people who had similar or same interests as me. Fast forward, step into adulthood. All of a sudden, we are not in nearly as many opportunities as situations to have forced friendships, to have automatic people who we have likenesses with. And so therein lies the gap that maybe we can talk about and fill, and where we need to move forward by mentoring and championing others who need community. And so the first one that comes to my mind, I always think about the opportunity that I had to be a part of a wine and prayer group. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. We did pray. We read a lot. We studied the Bible, and we had incredible fellowship. And yes, we drank wine. But I will tell you, I was really hesitant to show up at a stranger's home I was invited by one person, didn't know the other 4 or 5. I showed up at a stranger's home, and for the next few years, that became home. It was just one of my most sacred times I could spend with other women. And that's important too. So, for the most part, women, I am speaking to you, young, old, anywhere in the middle, it doesn't matter. We need fellowship and community. And so, again, that wine and prayer group was a little bit of forced fun because it wasn't fun to go the first day. And I tried to talk myself out of it, but I decided to just show up. And so I did. And it became a huge impact on my life and my career. It was impactful personally and professionally. And then, as I think about my life now, the things that I have to make time for and are easily deprioritized in our busy schedules, I think about the impact of a book club. I love to read, and making time to food and fellowship over books, but mostly just with friends, it is hugely impactful to my soul. It is hugely impactful to who I am. Bible studies. For some of you, it's a gym group. I wish I could get into that. I need to, but that's not one of mine currently. This year, I joined a group called Ag Women Connect, and I am so excited to be kind of growing and meeting these women, and then to be headed to a conference here this fall to meet them in person, where we've spent some time virtually in community and learning and fellowship. But I say all this, friends, to say these are impactful opportunities for us to build and grow our community, and they are not done without intention. And so I want you to think about 3 things when it comes to building our communities. The first one, and you've all heard me say this before, I want you to be curious, super curious, be an enthusiastic student. And I want you to be curious about other people in real life more than you are curious about other people on social media. Think about that. Just think about it. Are we spending enough time with people in real life? Be curious. And so that's the most important part. Be a listener, be enthusiastic as a learner. And that curiosity is really going to lead you through doors and opportunities that you couldn't dream of. And oftentimes it requires us to step out of our comfort zone a little bit. And again, none of this matters to me whether we are an introvert or an extrovert, whether we're Gen Z, a millennial, a Gen X, or a baby boomer, or otherwise. It doesn't matter. This building of community is what is going to create life for you, living inspired, fulfilled, and empowered. And I'm quick to say that when we think about being curious, comparison is the thief of joy, period. Comparisonitis is absolutely a vicious circle of fear and jealousy. And so oftentimes comparisonitis is what is preventing us from being curious about other people in a positive way. Curiosity will help us build our community. So be curious about other people who are near your age, other people, especially who are ahead of you, doing things that you're interested in doing, working places you're interested in working, 5 plus 10 plus years ahead of you. Those are the people I want you to be curious about, and go find them, learn about them, learn something about them. So number 1, don't forget to be curious. Be curious about life, be curious about people in real life, not social media. Number 2, you've heard me say this word over and over again, be intentional. Be really intentional about this, because we are in a world where fellowship is not happening the way it used to happen. Some of us that are a little bit older, we continue to hear stories about, women used to do the washing together. They were very community oriented. We've all heard the term, it takes a village to raise a child. And that was very much the way. That is not the way of our world today. So it requires greater intentionality from us to create community. And that fellowship of community is what gives us fulfillment in life. It is often the missing piece to what we are doing. This is about who we are as much, if not more, as it is about what we do. If we are only focused on what we do, we become human doings instead of human beings. If we are to be human beings, we have to bring who we are. And sometimes that might be a little bit vulnerable, but vulnerability and authenticity go hand in hand. When we are intentional about who we are and the community that we want to be around, the people that we want to be around, it is being intentional about where and how we spend our time. And if we are not being intentional, we are just wasting time being busy, and we are not achieving our full potential. We are not achieving impact. So, number 2, be intentional. And number 1 was be curious. Number 3, be grateful and giving. Be grateful and giving, my friend. I believe in the power of gratitude. And the more often we are thanking people, I will sometimes find myself saying, thank you for being you. Sometimes I need to say that to my husband. Thank you for being you, right? So think about gratitude over judgment, even where we can so easily be very critical of others. I am critical, and you've heard me talk about judgmental Jodi. I can be judgmental Jodi, and I can be critical Jodi, and all of those things. But the more we practice gratitude, the more we are thanking people. And it makes me think about, something I say often when I'm coaching others: we praise in public and criticize in private. Praise in public, criticize in private. Gratitude creates fulfillment. And so that is where I think back on all of the people that put so much time and energy. Time is the greatest resource that we have. And if you think about it this way, friends, time is all we have. Time is actually all we have. What are you doing with yours? And so when we take some of that time and we practice gratitude as we are being curious and being intentional, we are then able to be grateful to the people in our lives who are sharing their time and energy. And then I want you in return to be giving of your own time and energy. Who are you helping to do life? Who are you creating community with? Who are you sharing your passions, your energy, your time with in order to help them step up the way others in your life have helped you? Those who are part of your community and are continuing to champion and mentor you along the way. And I think this really requires us to stop and do some thinking, because very often we are so focused about the people whom we admire and look up to, and we consider them to be mentors and examples. But friends, you are an example to someone else, and you may not know that. And I've learned so much of that just through some of the young women that I've been coaching this year. And you never know who is watching you do life. And think about that, because I think that it's so important to ask ourselves not what's in it for me, what's in it for them. What do I have to bring to the table that will serve others, serve my community, serve my family, serve the company that I work for, the industry that I work in? Whatever that looks like, I want you to be grateful for the people in your community now and be giving of your time and energy in order to help others grow into greater community with you. So those are really my 3 points today to make on building a community. I want you to, number one, be curious. I want you to, number two, be intentional. And I want you to, number three, be grateful and giving of time and energy. Be grateful for those that gave to you and be giving of your own in order to bring others along. Because at the end of the day, competition makes us faster. Collaboration makes us better. It is the most important thing we can do to show up, to be authentically and vulnerably, that's uncomfortable for many of us, authentically and vulnerably you, and bring that to the table, because you are smart, you are capable, you are strong, you are fearless, you are all of those things, and we have to build a community around that. I want you to think about the golden rule, and I'm going to give you another rule to take away. What is the golden rule? Everyone should know that we know that we want to treat others the way we want to be treated. You want to treat others the way you want to be treated. I'm going to take it to another level. And I talk a lot about this as I do organizational and team training, especially for any of us in sales and customer facing roles. The platinum rule might be just a little bit elevated from the golden rule. And that is that I want you to treat others the way they want to be treated. We could use a little bit more of that in today's world, because if we are curious and quiet enough, meaning we are listening, curious and quiet enough, we are able to really understand how others wish to be treated. We are not selfishly thinking about how we want to be spoken to, how we want to be treated. It's not about us. It isn't about us. It is about our customer. It's about our friend. It's about our spouse. It's about our family. It is about our peers and our colleagues and our clients and our customers. And so while we need to take care of ourselves, we need to build a community that creates fellowship, which will create fulfillment. And I want you to think about how you are treating other people, because we, the people, are meant to, thrivers, we are meant to laugh, we are meant to love, we are meant to sing, we're meant to dance. We're also meant to cry, and we're meant to crumble. We're meant to enjoy the mountaintops, and we are meant to suffer through the valleys. And that is part of the human experience, but we are not made to do that alone. We are meant to do that in community. We are meant to do that in fellowship. And that is the most important part of who we are today and who we are becoming. So I am so thrilled that you, Thriver, are here. You are a part of this community. You are part of life, living inspired, fulfilled, and empowered. And if there is one thing that I would encourage you to do today, it is to go out and thank your community. Thank the people who have mentored and championed you to be where you are today. And then I want you to give some of your time and energy to someone else to bring them up through your community, our community, and what that means to not only you and what it means to them. Every step of my journey, without question, has been defined by at least one person that was divinely placed in my life at the right place at the right time. Most of the time, that is not when we are on mountaintops. That is when we are careening down a mountainside into the valley, into the depths. And that is when we really need to understand and look around us and acknowledge who our community is. So personally and professionally, it doesn't matter. Be curious, be intentional, be grateful and giving, and you are going to continue to create a community that helps you absolutely soar. So Thrivers, keep enjoying summer. Don't get too hot. Use that sunscreen, and we will see you back here next week for another amazing episode. I'm so excited. We are bringing a new guest in next week to highlight an equine program at a little known university. So come back, be here, same time next week. Have an amazing day. Cheers.